Recording and good morning and welcome out to Market Watch Group Weekly Opening Bell. My name is Scott. I will be your host. Talking about Father's Day weekend. So once again, hope all the fathers had an amazing Sunday. Mine was fantastic. Couldn't have asked for more. Here's the disclaimers. As always, be careful out there. We are not brokers. We are not advisors. We do not provide education nor guidance. This is for education, illustrative purposes only. Okay. What's the agenda for today? Opening futures and news. We postured. Is everyone feeling pretty comfortable with their posture? I feel sometimes like maybe we need a confidence measure. I wonder if that would help. Where you're like, this is my score. And then on a 1 to 5, here's my confidence measure. So you're like, I'm a 4.4. Like I feel pretty good, but you know, it could be better. Versus, I don't know. Would that be useful? I'm not sure. How confident do you feel out there about your current posture score? I'll be curious about that. We'll look at the economic calendar. We'll look at what that posture was for anyone who wasn't there. Mindset for open trades. As I said, the trade that we put on Friday, that some people may have put on Friday, and that was sent out just now via the announcements. I haven't sent the email. I'll send the email after we're done here this morning. I very clearly, hopefully, flagged it as a hedge trade so that you recognize that would be a trade I would take if I had some bullish trades on. Let's get through this. Mindset, range, opportunity list. I need to change that's the new name, the opportunity list. Sounds great, right? Trading plan section of the week. Okay. Let's get quick peek at the futures. So what do we want to look at? Good morning, Michael. Good to see you. Hope you had a great day yesterday. What to know this week? Can the records continue? Of course they can. Anything can happen. Of course it can keep going high. But we get to a point. S&P 6,000? Why, the market may have more room to run. Oh, it may have more room to run? Why this headline that doesn't actually take a position is always right? Wow, I said it may. I didn't say it would. S&P futures minus 0.12. Dow futures minus 0.25. NASDAQ flat. Russell minus we'll call it 5, rounding up a little bit. Oil is up 0.6. Gold is down 0.4. What else? Gapped up. You can see we ran, came back. We're like, oh, that could be a shooting star doji. And then the next day it was like, oh, well, that could be a hanging man. And then the next day you're like, well, wait a second. This is 3 days in a row that we're just in here. And then today, what's going to happen? Well, we're going to open right back up in this range. 542, right in here. So are we looking, and you can see where we are in our trend. Our trend says it could go a little higher and still be just in this trend. That wouldn't give, if it got a little higher, I'm not going to score it any higher because I'm scoring that trend right now and the fact that we're in it convincingly. If we don't get to the top and it pulls back, I might think about lowering my number a little bit, depending on what happens next. So, but for now, yeah, if at any point, so if you remember, we talked about my favorite candlestick. You don't see it very often. The abandoned baby. We didn't get it. Why do I have two of these? I only need one. Nope. I only need one. Right there would have been the candle. And then it stayed. But we're still forming potentially an island here. Right? This is still potentially an island. We're still going to be in this range. Let's just put this here. Which means that if at any point there is a gap on open, so let's say today it's fine. Sandy, am I answering your question? I see you just said, what does that look like? And I'm not sure if I'm now, yes. Okay, good. So now if so let's say today we open and it's just kind of a lackluster day, which I could definitely see based on where we are and what's going on. If at any point, let's say tomorrow we have that gap down and then this comes and it's like this is still an island to some extent, right? Meaning it gapped up and there's these four. Is it only a gap down? Yes, it has to gap, meaning it has now this gap here and this gap here, which creates this little floating guy here. That's the island for an island reversal. To be perfectly honest, I'm not that concerned about it, but I do think it's likely to push us into consolidation, which would, at that point, we would probably shut down all new bullish trades and wait for whatever this consolidation is. If it just consolidates to here, that's just the normal trend. If it consolidated a little lower and then turned, well, at that point, I might say, hey, you know what? If I draw these two lines and these two lines, I have a new trend, and that's only maybe a 1.25 score. So I'm just sort of keeping myself open to the possibilities of what is going to happen. That island reversal is not like, oh, that's a trend reversal. By any stretch, do not think that. That a trend reversal is like a head and shoulders, a double top, a triple top. These are big, long, hard to confirm patterns. This is not that hard to confirm, so it's not that significant of a pattern, but it does change our trading posture. Remember, every Monday morning we get here and we say, what? Now what? We postured yesterday and we said, oh, look at let's talk about that. What did we say? Let's take a look. So we improved by a quarter of a point. Bullish, slightly more bullish. What happened? Long term stayed exactly the same. The trends look great. There's our opening bell. The trends look very stable. So long-term trend score stayed the same. Short-term trend score stayed the same. Volume improved a little bit. A little bit of evidence of the buyers pulling just a little bit harder. And then we had major markets stay the same. Wait a second. How did my posture improve? What am I missing? Oh, yeah, volume got better. Everything else stayed the same. I'm like, wait a second. I kept thinking I lowered my volatility score, but I didn't. That was the point. It never actually gave a higher low. It was just like very, very close, very close. .5 for major market, bullish. Sector rotation is close, but hasn't quite given it what it needs. But I would say as of right now, um, yeah, we're pretty stable, right? We're pretty stable in here in this range. So we're bullish, but bullish as the market does what? As the market is making what we have. What did I just do? I don't care about that means. Sorry, hold on. We are at 5.75 as the market hits what we have acknowledged is potentially a consolidating signal. Ding, ding, ding. That was me connecting the dots. I hope it connected for you. So from a trade standpoint, are we slapping on new bullish trades? Not in this. We have a very strong opportunity list right now. I'm throwing that out there a lot, so that because I've settled on that. We've gone back and forth. I used to call it my short list, and people would be like, "Oh, so you mean you're going to short the stocks on that list?" And I'm like, "Oh no, it's short meaning it's not very long. It's just like the short list of stocks from my hey, you're on the short list, right?" But it created confusion because people mean they're like, "Oh, I shorted it because you said it was on your short list." I'm like, "What?" That didn't actually happen, but I was worried about that. Then we called it a shopping list for a little bit, but then I was like, "Wait a second, that's like, oh, I'm looking to buy something." And I'm like, that doesn't have the psychology that we're looking for. Here's what I settled on, and I mean, to be fair, we'll leave the tag on, so we could always return it and try something else on, but the opportunity list. This is where we believe our next round of trade opportunities will come from. So we have watch list. That's the 50, 60, whatever our list is at any given time. I think it's probably gotten as big as 70 and as small as 25, depending. So we definitely keep a core list. Um, and then we will have each week, and this is in your emails. If you're ever like, well, what's this week's? It's every email. It's there. So if you're ever like, I don't know what's on this week's opportunity lists. Where's the opportunities, Scott? Well, they're in their email. Go take a look. uh, so the opportunity list looked good. If you saw it yesterday, we had technology, we had communication services, we had some consumer, couple of a couple financials, couple industrials, and no, sorry, yeah, a couple and one. I can't remember now. Maybe that was it, but it was strong. I do think that if we get the consolidation, we have a great list of things to trade. It's just how much patience. Right now, I think our patience meters should be high. Hmm. Okay. What else? Stock futures steady near records as Wall Street gets bullish. I don't even know what that means. Gets bullish. We're at record highs. Aren't we already pretty dang bullish? Shouldn't we have been bullish? I don't know, the whole time. That's my thought. Okay, what's on the calendar this week? And bullish is exactly where we are. Not much today. Empire State Manufacturing is one of the most wildly fluctuating economic reports we have. I'm just saying. But we do have tomorrow sales, production utilization, a bunch of Fed speak, including our favorite Goolsby for Fed, the hallowed, the revered, the esteemed Sir Austin Goolsby speaking on Tuesday. Remember, Friday. I forgot to change the calendar, but I will. but we are not meeting on Wednesday in any capacity due to the fact that the market is closed. In respect and remembrance of the Juneteenth holiday, we will be meeting on Thursday morning at the usual time. Thursday morning will be our midweek check-in. We will still have the same schedule for our Trading Foundations Tuesday, Thursday classes. Thursday, not much going on, and then Friday, yeah, it's pretty minor. Home sales, we're really not in any way sensitive to real estate reports. Real quickly, let's look at our Fed, and then let's get to our watch lists. So like I said, if you are carrying bullish trades and you're looking at this market pause today, you're not sure what you want to do with it, go look at our announcements. The alert came out for a hedge trade. I'm going to send the email. I gave a good bracket range of any price under a certain amount. If you're not carrying bullish trades, that's a speculative trade. And that's where I'm going to say I would probably recommend against that. We're bullish, and we went increasingly bullish. And I don't want you to think about building a habit of trying to trade speculatively bearish consolidations in a bullish market. That's a bad habit. I don't want to promote that in any way. So I would say, if you're out there like, hey, well, could I just take this as like a speculative trade? Of course you could. I'm gonna say I'd recommend against it. It's not in line with our philosophy and what we're doing with our market posture. So I'll leave it at that. It's your trade, whatever it is. What if it was part of an overall strategy, balancing the portfolio, finding out of favor stocks? Of course. 100. I mean, if it's a part of a strategy, press, right? What I don't want is someone to say, hey, Scott put an alert out, so I'm going to take it. When I put the alert out specifically and flagged it as a hedge. So for me as well, it's part of a strategy. If it's a part of a strategy and it's following your rules, it's 100% makes sense. That's a great trade. If it's following your rules, it makes sense. It's that simple for me. Does that follow my rules? Yes, it does. Anytime I'm carrying trades and I have some uncertainty and I can put a cheap hedge on, I do. I'm like, oh, let's just put it on. If I need to take it off I'll put it on Monday, and if I have to take it off Wednesday, I'll take it off Wednesday. Great. Okay. No harm, no foul. No probability in July. September, we were around 2-1. It can't really seem to lock that down. I still think November. There's still like a back and forth 50-50 between one cut and two cuts. I think they're not going to do it in September. They're going to hit it in November. Actually, I don't know now. Maybe they will hit it in September. No. There'll be such accusations of election like manipulation and stuff like that. It's going to be interesting what the Fed does. They're in a real precarious position. The numbers started ticking down again. I don't think that they'll have time to see what they need to see for a July, but September, and then September, like if you look here, this is a day after the election. If they don't do it until November, we're only going to get one cut. I think the only way we get two cuts is if they hit it in September, pause to see what the impact is, and then hit it again. If they hit it in November, they're not going to have enough data to be like, yeah, we need to hit it again. And they're not in a rush to keep hitting it down. That's something that we need to be thinking about. So, yeah, we'll see how the next, right, Stephen? You're exactly right. What does the next set of data tell us? That's what's going to really be important for us. Okay, let's get to this watch list of ours, shall we? I think we shall. Apple. So look at Apple. I mean, I'm already thinking to myself, is Apple just flagging? Apple is made a, as a market leader, made a huge splash, a huge abrupt splash into the AI market. Um, right? Huge. That momentum reverberated throughout the chip sector. Um, so yeah, if we're wanting to trade it, we need to start thinking about this in terms of flags. I mean, it's really more of a pennant, kind of has more of a triangular shape than like a sloping shape, but implications are the same. Small little consolidation, and then bing, we pop out of it. Well, let's keep an eye on it. That might be happening, and that's on our list. AMD is not. I actually have not been. I took AMD off the opportunity list. I'm just like, it's just not going anywhere. Um, Amazon on the list. Look at that. And you might think, well, it's right back at these highs. It sure is. And if it ever breaks through those, it's going to have a great tear to the upside with no resistance. So if it makes a hard run up, then just takes a little breather and holds this 50, yeah, I'll definitely think about this one here for a pop out. That's on our list for sure. AVGO had great earnings and announced a split. Remember that the split activity is continuing to increase, which confirms additional bullish sentiment in our market overall. Very strong. We can't do anything with this. We're going to watch it, but because the expectation is when this split comes and this thing's down to 180, there's a very good chance that the trading in here reaccelerates. AXP, I only have 2 stocks in financials right now. So financials have been into a bit of a correction where they ended up down about 10%. But I haven't lost my faith in the sector yet. I think it's potentially going to bounce, and I have 2 stocks that I'm looking at for that. AXP is not one of them. I put Boeing on the list. Look at it. It looks like it's setting up for a trade. It had a higher high, and then it pulled back, and then here it's higher low, potentially forming. Stochastics is turning. It's hard to argue with that. It's right there, setting up. Bank of America, that's my first and favored financial stock right now. Beautiful trend. Still just had higher highs, still establishing higher lows, still setting up. I like this one. Citi is not. You can see Citi dipped a little bit. I think these things can pop back up, but I think something needs to lead them. I have 2 that I think about. Caterpillar, no. I like Colgate-Palmolive, but it's overextended. Look at Chipotle. I'm telling you, man, I've wanted to trade it like 3 times. It's just not tradable right now. With it being $3,300, the options, like, you can go out of the money, and the spreads are just wide. They're expensive. But man, it is a moneymaker. So what am I hoping? I'm hoping that by the time it gives me the next consolidation, we're walking up on this 50-to-1 split, and Chipotle's a $65 stock, and we're all like, okay, let's get ready to trade this thing. Oil, do we have expectations of inflation numbers continuing to diminish like they did this last month? I say yes. And I say that this is the evidence. If you remember, when we got stalled out in inflation, they're like, there's 2 primary culprits. Rents, which is due to the fact that there's no inventory for homes, so you can't buy anything, so everybody's renting. If there's everybody renting, then there's no inventory for rentals, and those go up too. When they sniff interest rates and mortgage rates come down a little bit, that will actually cheapen interest rates and have a snowballing effect to continue to help inflation come down. But for me, the fact that we've seen oil come down so much and get back to, right? We said the longer it stays up here, back here in March, we were talking about, hey, if this goes up too far or stays too long, that's going to put pressures on inflation. It did. But now that it's got back below the 50 and continues all the way back where we were, that's off. I think that the Fed does have what it needs. I just don't think it's going to come in time to get a knockdown in September. I guess we'll see. Costco, I want to trade so badly, it just won't pull back, but I'm going to keep watching it. I put it on the opportunity list just to kind of, just out of hope. DAL, no, it's kind of lackluster at this point. The Dow, little lackluster. EQH. Okay, so I have this is a financial, but it's not on the list for me. I wouldn't make an argument against it necessarily. It's just a little bit choppy, and I like the others better. A little bit more market leaders, the other two. FCX. Mining materials also have been demonstrating similar characteristics as oil in their pullbacks. Bitcoin is just kind of flat. GE, I don't know. It's really kind of flattened out here. I was looking for it in here, never really got it, and then it just sort of dipped down. Now, I don't know. I'm going to wait. Gold pulled back. Google on our list. We're just waiting for this. Google's trend looks great, but as of right now, we're kind of in this little bit of a consolidation. You can see this is coming down. We'd like to see this turn. We'd like to see price anywhere above here, right? Like, so anywhere in this range, if the price stabilizes and turns, wow, we got what we were looking for. Boom, trade comes. Love it. But we have to be patient right now. That's the point. We have to be patient. HIMS, overextended, nothing there. Gotta wait. Small caps and Dows keep going back and forth to see who is going to be in last place. Home builders, steady. That's a maybe, I guess, for a consumer. Coca-Cola, I think, looks fantastic. So there's some good things, but the problem with consumer is most of it's defensive. Amazon is discretionary. Walmart, Costco, Coca-Cola, that's all staples, which is a bit more defensive of the consumer range. Meta looks fabulous. Look at that. We had this nice move up, new high. Now we're in a nice, smooth, steady consolidation down. When that consolidation ends, we will have a trade that we are considering, but it's not yet. MFC is not the next financial, though an argument could be made. This is in the insurance realm of financial, but that's not the one I was thinking of. But if you look at that and you're like, I don't know, Scott, I like it. I don't fault you. I see what you're looking at there. MMM, kind of thinking about this one as well. So I want you to be thinking about all the stocks that we've identified, okay, on our list. Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Coca-Cola, Boeing, Bank of America. I mean, come on, like you hear the size of these, right? Like, these are leaders. These are the kinds of stocks. If this opportunity list goes, everything goes with it. These are trendsetters. Here's the next one for me. Morgan Stanley holding the 50. You can see Microsoft, look how bullish Microsoft is looking. I need it to pull back, but Microsoft's at new highs. It's hard to get Microsoft and Apple and Amazon and Costco and Nvidia and Google and right, like the list just keeps going. All of them at new highs at the same time. That takes a lot of money. That takes bullishness. You don't just stumble your way to new highs on all those stocks, right? So what does that mean? It means I feel like we're right where we need to be with our understanding and perspective of the market. Micron, put it on the list. I don't know if we'll get a trade with earnings this close now, right? We needed this thing to consolidate, and it just didn't. Netflix, bullish, but needs a consolidation. Nvidia, bullish, needs a consolidation. You can see it's opened higher today. It's pulled back. Well, we're sensing a decrease in bullish sentiment on the short term, which just means what? An ebb. Remember our core philosophy as traders. Find a bull market and buy the dips. You'll do fine in that philosophy. Find a bull market. Okay, did we find one? Yes. So what should we do? Buy the dips. Buy the dips. When the sellers come in and there's some profit taking and this thing pulls back to its next higher low, we look to enter in order to ride it to its next higher high. And as long as trends continue, we keep doing that for as long as we can. PLTR. PLTR is new out of the AI sector. Looks good in setup mode. You can see QQQ, strong, leading. RTX out of the industrial arena. Trend looks great. Pulling back without a lot of volume, still holding above the 50, makes it viable. You can see the SPY is pulling back a little bit. So if you did put a trade on, if you got your puts on early, you're probably okay, and you're probably still thinking, what do I think is going to happen? We did put a calendar spread on last week. That's holding up just fine. So we'll keep looking at that and monitoring that this week. So that we'll see if a new alert comes to adapt that trade. TSM. I mean, here's the thing. We love it. I love TSM. I want to trade it, but it has to pull back. It gapped up. It's pulling. We thought this maybe was the start of the pullback. I'd like to see this thing actually do one of these measures here. Here's the dollar. The dollar's a little bit iffy right now. I've adjusted. I was thinking this was my range that I have to be careful of. And you can see it like popped out of that, and then it popped back in that, and then it popped. I was like, what is going on with the dollar in this little pocket? But you'll notice we never got above this line either. And so maybe I was a little too tight with my range here. But it's iffy. The dollar's iffy. We definitely don't want to see this thing pull back and then bounce in this fashion, because that bad, right? Bad. We'd like to see this thing break down, come underneath, and bounce lower and get back below 28.50. If we see this happen, yay, good. Makes us happy. Today's VIX. So if it wasn't confirming the higher low, then it is now, which means the hedge is fully confirmed, which means that the signal for the hedge is confirmed. If anyone was needing it, wanting it, like I said, I put that out as an alert, but it is a hedge alert, only a hedge alert. A little bit of a concern that this thing is escalating. What I would love to see, I'd love to see the hedge fail. I would. It's just a hedge. So if this thing comes up and it just gets up here to, like, let's say 14 and it starts to stall, remember this is our last high. If it does this, then this becomes a what? Lower high. Bam. That would immediately close my hedge. And if I wasn't already in some bullish trades, it would accelerate me getting in some bullish trades. And this would cause our market posture to go up by 0.25. Unfortunately, this would cause it to go down by 0.25. So these two just may wash each other out for a minute. We'll see what happens. Anytime it gets into an escalation like this, the VIX, from a scoring standpoint, gets a little bit like has to settle down. Okay. Walmart, strong, but kind of a little bit eased up. Real quickly now, XLB, materials are pulling back. Communication services look strong and look like they're getting ready to trade. Energy is looking weaker, which is great. Financials, iffy though. Iffy for financials, iffy for industrials. Technology looks fantastic, very strong, but needs a pullback. Staples is holding up. Utilities kind of holding up too, and there's healthcare. Healthcare looks pretty strong. I don't trade a lot of healthcare, but I would say that if you have some on your list, they're probably going to see something coming up soon. Last thing for today. Dun, 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 dun. Remember that I will be posting the sample trade last week in our working session on Thursday. We identified some prioritization necessary for our sample trading plan. So based on that work, I'm going to update that plan. And on Tuesday, we're gonna go in and I'm gonna show you the updates and how I scored it a little bit better. So in the meantime, we're starting over. We're on section 1, personal info. Remember that there are videos that accompany this that will help you out. I post those in the emails. So if you're just blindly skipping over your emails, don't. There's good stuff in there. The opportunity list is in there. The section of the week is in there. Unless you're not working on this section, you're working on a prioritized section. Great. That sounds good. Do that. Okay, let me get back to, I missed the chat for just a minute here. SLV, yes. Yes. Chipotle is the NVIDIA fast food press. You are not wrong about that, my friend. Here is silver. Hi-ho, silver. Silver is holding up on the 50. I think it's still viable. If I was going to do any materials trade, silver would be it. All right, now remember, cocktail hour tonight, 8:30 p.m. Come hang out with us. Have a chit-chat. Get to know each other outside of the trading conditions. We try to get some brainstorming discussions, things like that. So I hope you can join us there. And then tomorrow night we will have Trading Foundations. I hope you can make it. If not, I hope you're participating this week with trading plan discussions in Discord in the forums. Other than that, it's great to see everybody. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, happy trading.